One issue that a lot of folks have when they're creating tones in their Helix is dialing in delays so that they work and complement the tone and give them the final outcome they want. Today, we're going to take a look at what I feel are the three most important parameters to get right and how we can do that. The first one is going to be the note sync. Now, it's called note sync, or it can be called time. When it's set to time with this little button over here, we are going to be measuring our delay time in milliseconds. So we know that with this, we have a delay time of 507 milliseconds. We know that the repeat is going to happen precisely 507 milliseconds after I strike the note. Depending on our feedback setting, it will continue at that interval. I don't like to set my time function to time. I like to set it actually to the note sync. And the reason is, this is going to help our delay fit with the music. Now, when we have it set to note sync, we're going to have a note value here. So this is set to quarter note, but we can see we can set it to whole note, dotted half note, half note, half note, triplet, and so on down the road, all the way down to 64th note triplet. Oftentimes, I'll start off with this setting as a quarter note. Now, this is going to be tied to the tempo up here. So you can see that we have a tempo of 120 beats per minute. Meaning, when I play a note, the repeat is now going to happen one quarter note at 120 beats per minute later. So this is a great way to dial in our delays to work with our music. And it's going to also allow us to be able to maybe bump our mix up a little higher because the delayed echoes will now blend with the music a little bit better and maybe won't poke out as much if they aren't in time with the music. And if they aren't in time with the music, they may actually have a little bit of a disjointed, disconnected sound in talking about how they relate to the music and not be what we want. And that was a problem that a lot of folks have had. So we're going to start off with that. We can go up here as a side note and either right-click the tempo and change that to whatever we feel, or we can actually just tap it in as well. But for today, I'm just going to right click it and set it at 120. Now, the next parameter that's going to be very important is the feedback. Now, if I set the feedback to 0, you'll notice that when I play, I get one repeat. If I set that feedback much higher, I'm going to get multiple repeats, where you'll see the delay will just keep generating these delayed repeats. So what I like to do is set the feedback somewhere around the 25 to 30% mark. So I get a couple strong repeats and then they kind of fade off. I find that just helps for things to sit properly. The final, and what I feel might be one of the most important parameters, is the mix control. With mix on 0, we're going to get no repeat, because all it is direct signal. This is mixing the direct and affected signal. With the mix on 100, we won't get, you'll notice, any direct signal. So we got to find a place in between there that's not too much. One of the big mistakes I see a lot of folks make is they come in and they dial this in too heavy. So it's almost overpowering their direct or main guitar tone. So at 50%, we're going to basically have equal parts direct and delayed tone, which can be a cool effect if that's what we want and we know specifically what we're doing. But I like to set this somewhere in and around, again, the 25 to 30 range. So let's go with 27 right now. And I find that gives me just a beautiful delay that's going to sit really nicely. Now, obviously, when we get this in a mix, we may have to adjust these things if we aren't getting the delay that we want. Maybe it's not apparent enough, so we might have to bump the mix up or maybe give it a little bit more feedback. But I think those will be good starting points for you so that you're not washing your entire tone out with delay. I hope that was helpful. I hope you enjoy the music on the way out. Links are below to the presets that you heard in this video.